So welcome back once again to the Humane Society of Manatee County here on 14th Street in downtown Bradenton. We're very happy to have you back, including METV. Today we're going to be talking about our volunteer program. We have a very dedicated group of volunteers here at the Humane Society of Manatee County. We actually have 127 active volunteers, and 56 of them are here every single week. And we couldn't do what we do here in saving the lives of these animals and finding them new homes without our volunteer team helping us out. They do everything from walk the dogs to cuddle the cats. We have dogs playing for life groups to socialize the dogs, and the volunteers are involved in that every week. We offer our volunteers training, and they actually offer a lot of advice to me and help us with our programs here. So we couldn't be happier to have you here today to talk about our volunteers and some of the programs. Recently, they went through training for Dogs Playing for Life, which is a socialization training. It was a 3-day intensive training course, and it helps us socialize these dogs. They get all the tools and knowledge they need in working with large groups of dogs. And once you have a well-socialized dog, you have a very adoptable dog. So it's a very important part of the process. Okay, the requirements for being a volunteer here at the Humane Society of Manatee County are pretty basic. You need to be at least 16 years old. You need to fill out a volunteer application. Once your application is approved and accepted, you're brought in for what we call volunteer orientation, which happens once a month, by the way, because we have new volunteers coming on a pretty regular basis. So in that original orientation, you'll learn all that you need to learn to start the basics of being a volunteer and working with the animals here at the Humane Society of Manatee County's Second Chance Adoption Center. Okay, the majority of our volunteers who are here today are our dog walkers, but quite honestly, what the volunteers do here is kind of across the campus. We have volunteers who work handling telephones in our veterinary clinic. We have volunteers here that answer the phone and make callbacks from the shelter to people who are interested in adopting or potentially even surrendering an animal. There's also cat cuddling, as we talked about before. All of our fosters, the foster parents for the kittens and the puppies that we need fosters for, and some adult dogs that we need fosters for, and adult cats, those are also part of our volunteer team, and that is an essential part of our volunteer team. The foster program is very, very important to us in getting these animals out into a home situation and out of the shelter, especially for kittens and puppies. One of the other aspects of volunteering that I didn't talk about yet also is our outreach program. We have volunteers, and we're looking for more, who are willing to go out to our off-site adoption events, taking animals with them to the farmers market, downtown Bradenton, the Riverwalk, and the list goes on and on. So that's also a very important element of what we do. We do have a lot of longtime volunteers who give us their time and serve as volunteers here at the Humane Society of Manatee County. We feel very strongly that we want to work with, train, and show the respect to our volunteers who are willing to give their time to come here. There's a very good culture in this organization of our staff working very closely with the volunteers, and it really is all about respect. And again, we could not do what we do in saving lives of animals without dedicated volunteers like we have here with us.
It's been a really great experience, and what initially caused me to search out an animal shelter to volunteer at is that I've always loved working with animals, interacting with them, caring for them. So, you know, that was what originally prompted me to start volunteering here. And from the moment that I started, I could tell that everyone here is deeply, deeply compassionate about their work. And I love that. I love seeing people here, put a lot of care and dedication into what they do. And so it kind of rubs off on me, and it encourages me to do the same.
So Tristan, talk a little bit about your interaction with the staff here and what it means to you as a volunteer to have that type of cooperation level amongst the staff and the volunteers.
Well, for one, everyone here is just good. They're just good people. Everyone here is kind, and they, like I said previously, they put a lot of effort and care into what they do. And so through interacting with them, I have been able to, it has inspired me to do the same. And, it's just been great. It's been awesome. I love everyone here, volunteers included. Everyone here is just really, they're into what they do. And that's really cool.
So Tristan, take us through an average day as a volunteer of what you do here at the Humane Society of Manatee County when you arrive in the morning, and what do you do throughout the day?
Well, a cool thing about volunteering here is that the volunteers here are kind of free to do what they want in regards to helping out here. It's very free form, and that makes it cool. What I do typically is when I come in, I'll, walk the dogs, first say hi to the volunteers I see and the staff here. I'll walk the dogs, socialize with them, try to maybe teach them a few things. And in between that, I'll also go over to Meow Manor and interact with the cats, which is, to me, like a therapeutic thing. Going there is, you're just able to relax, see the cats, and you're also socializing with them. So they're getting a benefit from you, taking it easy in there and just doing things with them. And in addition to that, there's also a lot of other work besides just working with animals. We can clear up, clean the equipment, the kennels and things, and wash clothes and things like that. So it's a full day, but it doesn't feel like work. It really doesn't. It's just fun. Yeah.
We're also we're developing in May. We're going to put together a volunteer services committee that will include myself. It'll include a shelter manager and some shelter staff. It will also include some of our volunteers, both long-term and short-term, and it will also include one or two of our board of directors. And we're putting that together so that we can get a better understanding of how we can draw more volunteers, how we can have a high retention rate of our current volunteers, and what do the volunteers want as far as training goes, what kind of frequency. And we want to hear directly from the people who are here volunteering for us, and we'll act on what we hear. So Tristan, when you meet people out in the public, do you talk to them about potentially coming here and volunteering along with yourself at the Humane Society of Manatee County?
Oh, totally. That's probably one of the main conversation topics that I use when I talk to people. I always, I tell them, when I meet someone new or I'm talking to a friend, I say, I volunteer at the Humane Society of Manatee County, and it's just awesome. It's like, to reiterate what I had said previously, it doesn't feel like work at all. It feels like I'm genuinely making a difference in what I do. I feel that, but it's enjoyable, so it's not like I'm doing the whole grind, and everything like that. It's cool. And I think that's what people want. They want to be able to, if they're planning on volunteering, they want to be at a place where they don't feel controlled. It's not overly structured. You can just help at your own pace, and you can see that the staff and fellow volunteers appreciate what you do. And like you said, you truly do. You're always thanking me. All the staff members are always thanking me for my work. So that encouragement also just gives the whole place a really good, friendly feel to it, and definitely encourages me to work as much as I can.
So here's another one of our volunteers, Annie Carroll, who's been here for about 6 months. Annie, can you tell us what your experience has been like serving as a volunteer here at the Humane Society of Manatee County?
Oh, I've loved it. I love all the dogs and getting to walk them around and play with them and everything. It's just great.
Does it feel a little bit like every week is Volunteer Appreciation Week here with the staff?
They truly thank us every time I come in and every time I leave. They're really good about thanking us for doing the things that we do.
And your experience here has obviously been a positive one. I see you here a lot, actually. You certainly fill in the hours here for us and work with the dogs. And you've been part of the Dogs Playing for Life group as well, correct? Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Well, we bring in anywhere from 2 to 5 dogs into a big play area sort of like this. And we just let them run around and play. We take their leashes off so that they're allowed to interact with one another. And I must admit, sometimes, they get a little rough and rowdy, but that's just part of being a dog. So I really like working with the group of dogs.
And you were here for the Dogs Playing for Life training course. Do you feel that that was a valuable training course for you as an individual?
Yes, because I'd never even heard of it before. And to watch those people, and they put a lot of dogs together, not just the few that we put together. And it was very valuable to know how to bring them in, take their leashes off, let them interact with other dogs. And yes, I can say it was very helpful.
Well, here comes another thank you. Thank you, Annie, for being here again. We really appreciate what you do here for the animals and your working with the staff. It's really a great addition to our volunteer program. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, Rick. I thoroughly enjoy it.
So, Annie, can you explain to us how you ended up here as a volunteer, what helped you make that decision, and what it's meant to you personally since you've been here?
Well, I started off as a nurse. I've been for many, many years, and I always said when I got through taking care of people, I was going to come take care of animals. And I have, like I said, it's just been a joy to take care of these guys, and it's really great. You get attached to some of them, but then when they get adopted, you're really happy sometimes, and you're kind of sad because you miss them, but it's great to see them get out and get adopted and to go to good homes. And it's given me something in my retirement to keep me occupied, and even if I wasn't retired, I'd probably still do it.
It's pretty amazing to me to watch how some of these dogs truly do bond with specific volunteers. It's something that actually really brings a big smile to everyone's face, and how that happens, I don't know that we really know, but we're so happy that it does happen. And the volunteers do have in their heart a desire for that dog to find a new home. As much as they love bonding with the dog, they are excited and happy when that dog goes to a good home, correct?
Correct. We've seen several that I've bonded with that, like I said, I'm just really glad to see them go to a good home. As much as I miss them when I come in, walking them, but it's just so great to know that they're going to be in a home and not here in the shelter. Not that they don't get really good care in the shelter, because they get walked 2 or 3 times a day, and everybody's really good to work with here. Not only just the volunteers, and if you have any questions, the staff is always good to answer them for you and give you any little hints that might be helpful. It's really great. You really get to feel important, but you really get to feel like you're doing something good to help the community and to help the dogs and to just be part of the community and everything. And I would encourage anybody who would like to come and volunteer to do so.
I'm Valerie Bliss. I'm the Director of Development for the Humane Society of Manatee County, and I have the pleasure of being with one of our newer volunteers, Clorinda. Clorinda, how long have you been volunteering with the Humane Society of Manatee County?
I have been volunteering since February. Since February, and it's been wonderful. Wonderful.
And what made you choose to volunteer at the Humane Society with all the other shelters available around the county?
Well, my first thing that I looked at was that it was a no-kill shelter. So that was really my main focus before I volunteered for any shelter. And I wanted something that was in my hometown, which is Bradenton.
Well, and yes, we are a no-kill shelter, and we're also, as you know, we have a full vet clinic, so we can take care of our animals on site. And who do we have here with you today?
Here we have Mona. Mona is a sweet girl. She loves kisses, and she loves belly rubs. How
many hours a week do you come to the shelter, and what do you do when you're here?
Well, I do usually about 4 hours here at the shelter, and basically I'm here to hug, love, and kiss dogs and walk them and make them feel happy and loved again. And then I also do some of the off-site events where we need to do some promotions to really get the dogs adopted.
And we are always looking to build our volunteer base because volunteers like yourself are our ambassadors out there. If you were to give some encouraging words to people in the community to get involved with the Humane Society, what would you share with them as to why they should and what they can expect to experience?
Well, I think they can expect lots of love from these dogs because they've been here and they haven't been in homes in a while, and they really just need to be kissed and rubbed and to be made to feel like that they're being loved. And it's a wonderful experience. You have to feel very gratified when you go home to know that you've helped out.
That's excellent. And yes, actually, it's the experience of the volunteers socializing with the dogs that make them more, if you will, adoptable. Because depending on the environment they came from, whether it be they were homeless, maybe you're in a situation where they were kept in a kennel the whole time, whatever it may be, the love, if you could just, like this, is what helps them to find their forever home. And they get lots of love here, and then they immediately get embraced into a new home. The volunteers are also very involved in helping us find new homes, whether it's people that they're friends with and family. They know the animals so well. In fact, our adoption specialists many times depend on them to give them insight as to this type of dog does well with little dogs, this type of dog can be in a family environment. So they're probably, I would say, one of the most critical components to the success of what we do here at the Humane Society is our volunteers. Is there anything else you would like to share with our local community?
Yes, I would. I'm actually fostering a dog right now, and her name is Ocean. And that's another opportunity, if you're a volunteer, is to bring a dog in your home and really socialize it so that it can get ready for adoption and be in a family environment. It's a wonderful opportunity.
It absolutely is. In fact, it's one element. There's the fostering part, which is what she just described. The other element is we have a sleepover program where you can take a dog like Ocean home, have it in your family environment, and interact with your family members and be comfortable in your household. And then you'll know for sure that animal is meant for you and your family. And then if not, it's okay. But it gives you an opportunity to have that bonding time in your own home. And that's what you've experienced, correct?
Yes, I have her for a few days now, and she's wonderful. I wake up in the morning and she's sleeping on my couch.
So she's made herself at home. Well, we thank you so much. And again, we couldn't do it without our volunteers. And we can absolutely use more volunteers. There are a variety of things that volunteers can do here at the Humane Society of Manatee County besides walking dogs, cuddling cats, helping us clean out kennels. There's also clinic work. There's also special event work. There's also brushing and grooming. And we have a boutique that needs to be stocked. We've got brochures and that need to be compiled for distribution in our community. The list goes on. We have many needs, and we will find the right fit for the right person who wants to come and volunteer at the Humane Society of Manatee County. Excellent. And I'm here with Elsie Cease, who's been involved with our organization as a volunteer since 2008. We are here in Meow Manor. Meow Manor is a investment made in our cats' loving environment. Thanks to Miss Elsie Cease right next to us. We now have a free roaming cat room. We've got a couple little kitties with us today, but first I want to ask Elsie a couple of questions. Elsie, why did you choose to volunteer at the Humane Society of Manatee County?
I wanted something that was close to my home. I didn't want to spend all my time driving. And I had a cat, and I thought, well, I could do some kitty cuddling, and, that'll work till something else comes along. Well, almost 10 years later, I'm still here.
And when you come here, what primarily do you participate in as far as your time, and how much time do you spend?
2 hours, and I come twice a week.
Okay. And typically what do you do then when you're here?
I come around, I look for all the kitties to see where they are, what they're doing, And Kiwi has discovered that I will take her out and love her. So she's first on the list. I do the cage kitties, spend 5-10 minutes with each one, depending on what they want, and then work with each of the other kitties. And of course, Kitty City, I have to see the kittens. So I let the kittens out, take a cage out at a time, keep an eye on them while I'm out here with the big kitties.
That's excellent. When you leave here at the end of the day, what goes through your mind after experiencing volunteer time here?
The satisfaction of knowing that some of the mature kitties have had some affection that they might not have had otherwise, knowing they've come from homes where they've had loving, and now they're caged and don't understand why they don't have their family.
The other thing I noticed every time I've come down and seen you in here, and a lot of the volunteers as well, is your interaction is deeper than just petting them and holding them like we're kind of doing now. You know them by name, you know their personality. And tell me a little bit more about that, like why that's important and what information gets logged and shared with the staff that'll help these animals, these beautiful cats, get adopted.
Basically, I like to see what the cat wants and relates to, and if I see something going on, then I will talk to Brenna or Jessica about it. Generally, everything's favorable. Sometimes there'll be a little problem that I'm concerned about, and it's always addressed very quickly, and someone gets back to me with an answer, which is very important, because I'm going to worry about this cat till I know what's going on.
Which is a pure sign of dedication of all of our volunteers that, at least that I've worked with and experienced in as long as I've worked here, is how much these animals, each one individually, are important to y'all. And again, we couldn't do what we'd have to do if we didn't have people like Elsie to socialize these animals, to pet them, to brush them, to get to know them, and help us identify a perfect home environment depending on their personality types, because we're having to do different things to keep the organization running. But again, without the volunteers, we couldn't do it. There's no way. You guys are the best investment and probably the most important group involved in making sure we are successful in our mission. And I think we have an escapee. Oh, no escapee. Okay, a cat came out of nowhere. I've got a little kitty that just wants to jump around out of my arms. Adorable. It's kitten season. We had an itty bitty kitty shower. Elsie, want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that's an excellent way to get the supplies that we need for our kittens. All kinds of things are needed: replacement milk, formula, nursing bottles, blankets, cuddle cups, heating pads. And when the community knows what is needed, it seems they go all out to help us. It's a fun time. Everyone seems to enjoy it and look forward to it.
Okay. I just had a little cuddling situation with the kitten that just has a bunch of energy, needed to move along. One of the things when we were in the itty bitty kitty shower that I think was surprised a lot of people was the amount of energy and cost there is to foster kittens. But without fostering, a lot of these kittens wouldn't make it alive, believe it or not. They need that extra attention. We established it's roughly about $250 per kitten.
$250, I think I was.
Yeah, it was $250. So where we can use help is obviously volunteer support as a foster, or investing in supplies like we did at the kitty shower, and also in coming and helping us here, like Elsie does, and getting to know the cats, and then subsequently kittens when they're ready and up for adoption, to help us, again, match them with the right home, because you guys know their personality so well.
Right. You don't want to. A little 6-year-old child doesn't want an adult cat that isn't going to play. They want something young. And some of our kittens will be shy, and some will be full of themselves. and very active, so you kind of know which kitten is which personality. And likewise with our mature kitties. It's been a very interesting learning experience for me. I keep learning something new every day that I'm here. And over the years, I've developed friendships with breeders. I've learned from them some of the things that they've taught me. I've been able to put to use here. So it's really a two-way street for me. I get as much as I give.
Well, that seems to be the overall theme, and again, we couldn't be more grateful. Now you've invested 10 years, many hours, and you know hands-on what is needed, and as you can see, we're continuing to grow, and expand, which means we need more support. So if you were to express that to our community, what would you say to encourage them as to why to support the Humane Society of Manatee County?
The compassion that the staff shows to the animals, their respect for the volunteers, the wonderful animals, and needless to say, financial support is a big thing. Your time is really needed too, because you can't have too many people loving animals.
That's very true. And with all the animals that we do have, and we have more and more animals, and the idea is to socialize these animals, and again, get them out of a kennel situation into a loving home, so that we can continue to bring more animals in from our county shelter and get as many animals as possible off the streets and decrease homelessness of animals in our community. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think you pretty well summed it up.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Elsie.
So here we are, still in Meow Manor at the Humane Society of Manatee County with two more of our volunteers, Amy and Sharon. Amy, can you tell us what it's meant to you since you started volunteering here at the Humane Society?
Oh, it's just been great. I love coming in, playing with the dogs, getting them out and exercising them. It means a lot to me.
Thank you. Sharon, how about yourself? What do you get the most out of in your volunteer time here at the Humane Society?
I enjoy walking the dogs and playing with the cats, but it's really good to see some of the dogs that you've walked and everything to get adopted and knowing they're going to a good home.
So volunteers are a special breed of people. And we here at the Humane Society of Manatee County greatly appreciate each and every minute that you give us of your time. How do you feel about working with the staff here and the relationships with the volunteers here at the Humane Society?
Oh, I think all the staff are wonderful. They help me out when I need stuff. If I have questions, they're always there to answer anything I need. And all the volunteers, they're wonderful. We became good friends. Yeah.
Sharon?
Yeah, same here. They've all been helpful, and you can always go to them if you have a question.
So, Amy, you've been a volunteer here now for just about a year. What would you say to other members out in the community, other residents, about the experience of volunteering and having them come join us here as a volunteer?
I would highly recommend it. I know I try to get my friends and people I work with to come in, and they say they don't want to because they're scared or they don't want to be around the shelter, but it's awesome. You get to get the dogs out. It's very rewarding, and it's can't compare to anything.
Sharon, I'll ask the same question to you. When you speak to people, friends, relatives, neighbors, people in the community about volunteering, what do you tell people?
I tell people about it, and actually I have had a friend or two come and start volunteering, and I tell them how good it is to see a dog that comes in and is kind of shy and everything, and after a while you can see how they become more dog-like and have fun, and it's just really rewarding.
Great. So you both see the results of your work on a daily basis. All the volunteers do. Taking a dog who maybe was left chained to a fence somewhere, who's basically shutting down and is just afraid of everything in life. And magically, within a couple of weeks of the staff and our volunteers working with these dogs, they start to rebound, once again gain trust in humans, and become very adoptable animals through the hard hard work of our volunteers and staff. So thank you both very much again for everything you do here for the Humane Society of Manatee County. So here today at the Humane Society of Manatee County, we saw inside the world of a volunteer. The volunteers that are joining us here now and the rest of the volunteers that we have here, over 127 active volunteers, are the backbone of this organization and working with our animals. We could not even consider trying to save the lives that we save and do what we do for the animals without our team of volunteers, an extremely dedicated group of people. Valerie, you see the volunteers each and every day as I do. What are your impressions?
I would agree with you on that. And in fact, they have more of a connection with our animals. So when it comes to talking to future homes or families or whatnot, they give the insight that's needed for the families to better understand and connect them. And I truly believe it helps our animals get adopted faster. There's no doubt that it does that. Number one. Number two, there's other things that these volunteers do for us. They're in the community doing outreach, which from the standpoint of marketing and being known with what we offer here, they are our ambassadors. And I know you and I couldn't be everywhere at all times, and that's what they lovingly do, giving of their time and their infinity to our organization, and it doesn't get any better than that. There's just no way we could get the messaging out and socialize the animals and help find homes. It absolutely it completes our mission, and it is the baseline of the success of what we do.
Part of the respect that we try to show our volunteers here is to allow them to choose the amount of time according to their schedule of what they can give a week or a month, also what they choose to do. We are very open to accepting people here who are willing to give of their time and allowing them to pick their schedule. Obviously, it's structured. We know what the schedule is, so we know who's here, who's not, but it is relatively open. And again, that makes it a pleasant volunteer atmosphere and environment here, and that is very important to us. And as soon as we get our volunteer services committee put together, which is going to include a couple of our board of directors, some staff members, and most importantly, several of our volunteers, to talk about the future of our volunteer program, what's important to our volunteers that really is going to benefit the animals. So I guess that's really, when it comes right down to it, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary here, March 14th. I had a cupcake and a cookie on my desk. We had a dog here who was having a hard time finding a home and now has Shetty, who was here for a year, and they threw a party for Shetty with a birthday cake, cupcakes, music. The volunteers, Amy and all the volunteers got together, and a big celebration for Shetty. Nothing for Rick. But we have a mutual respect and admiration, the staff and the volunteers here, and it's a great feeling, and it shows in the work they do with the animals. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, yes. The only other thing I would like to add is we also need volunteers if you're allergic, or you grew up with animals and you're not able to have them in your home. We have special events that we can always use help, so you can feel like you're still doing something for the animals. You have love of animals, but again, maybe you're allergic or a family member is allergic of some sort, but we can use help in a variety of other ways where you can still make an impact, and it still does, in fact, reach all the way back to the shelter and at the end result, finding homes for these beautiful animals.
So thank you, METV, for being here to step inside the volunteers' world today. We really appreciate it. Thank you.